Welcome back to Embodied Astrology. And this time we're doing Gemini season.
Yes.
Dwight, you are the health masterpiece astrology god. Tell us how wonderful Gemini season is going to be and all of the blessings that are coming to us and how easy it's going to be this month.
Well, it's actually going to be a wonderful, very beautiful month. I love June. It has so much in store for us. It's going to be a wonderful turning point from everything we have learned and gathered from this year already.
Good. And it's the halfway point. So I say if we
Yes.
can make it here, we can make it. Because Taurus season, I'll be honest, I don't think it was very nice.
No, it was not.
I just don't think so. I think it was, I just think everything kind of went nuts for a second.
Yes. Especially starting the whole like month off with Scorpio.
Yeah. So what are we starting? What are we starting June off with?
So luckily June is starting off with placement wise, it's just the sun is still in Gemini and the Mercury is still in Gemini. So it's that feeling of lightness, of energy, of joy, of childlike natures. It's going to be a wonderful time to still go deep into like so many thoughts. I would say during this time, you want to have the conversation that you may not want to have, to talk, to share, to communicate. But Gemini is going to make everything light. So it won't never feel too heavy. It's going to want to be like, let's discuss it, but let's not make it too emotional yet. So that's going to be the beautiful energy of this whole beginning side of the month. It's going to be literally going through and just making moves. The whole point of the beginning of this month is expression. And expression literally just means movement that's aligned with your goals that you're actually making. Because most people think, oh my gosh, I need to decide what I'm going to do and then I'm going to act. But Gemini, that mercurial energy is just like, no, clarity only comes from movement. Because how else will you know if it works if you haven't done it yet? So I want you to move. And in doing so, you're going to understand your patterns. And that is going to be the keynote for this whole month. June is going to really teach you who you are on a deeper level. And that's going to be the most beautiful part because I know it sounds intense because I'm intense, but it's really beautiful.
I like that though because I like to move. I'm a mover, and I've been coached by people wiser than me not to take steps until you know where you're stepping to. Like to
Mhm.
always see your next move and then you can step there because that's how you land. And I'm
Mhm.
like, but I don't like that. So I love this energy because you're saying that I'm not wrong and that it is true because I do know that about myself as well, that any sort of forward movement starts to gain momentum. And
Mhm.
with that momentum, if I find myself in a place I don't want to be, then I can make forward momentum somewhere else. But if we make forward momentum and we find that we are in a space we love, then we can grow that and expand that. And it feels like it's going to be light and expressive. I also caught how you said not emotional yet. But you know what? We're gonna push that off into pushing it off to July.
Right.
June. June. I want to be expressive, not emotional. I want to be joyful, childlike, and moving. I
Yep.
do. So I love how we're starting. This is
I know,
good.
right? So the key with this month, especially how it starts, is you have to remember back from Taurus season, it's all going to be about embodiment, and the goal was always about consistency. Like I said, not being perfect, it's just trying to be more stable in the actions that we choose for ourselves in alignment with what we want to actually manifest for our lives. And that's in any direction that you want to manifest it.
Mhm.
With Gemini, you're going to want to understand yourself within these actions. Gemini doesn't stop the actions, it doesn't change the actions. What it does is it studies who you are within the action. So if you're being consistent with going to the gym, Gemini is going to start asking questions like, well, why am I going to the gym? What is happening while I'm at the gym? how do I feel when I'm at the gym? And again, and even though I say how do I feel, that's going to be from a more mental standpoint, not actually feeling it, but more so analyzing the feeling that comes up without fully taking it on and letting it rule you. So in doing this, you actually understand. And when you fully understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, it's easier to reinforce those actions to keep being consistent. Because people don't always realize that um, without those understandings, sometimes actions can feel empty, and it can be easy to really not fully go on what you're doing. Because the funny thing about Gemini is Gemini loves to explore and learn. So, say for instance, you were being consistent and you develop this whole new plan that you've been doing. You're just like, I'm going to continue to eat the same way. Now people come around, they say, well, why did you choose that? And Gemini, because it loves to explain and teach, you need to be able to explain that and teach that. And one thing I was always taught was if someone is teaching you something and you're not able to explain it back to them, then you didn't learn anything. That's what you're going to do with yourself, though. You're your teacher in this instant. Everything that you're picking up, everything that you're learning, everything you're understanding about yourself, you need to be able to speak it back to other people, not because you need to explain yourself to people. You don't need that validation, but it is going to help you better reinforce these habits if you can do that. And really just start with yourself. You know, this is a perfect time to journal, to write. Um, Voice notes is really good. Some people love that. Gemini freaking loves voice notes. Like, just loves to talk.
Uh,
Post content if that is one of your goals, and share and communicate. Enjoy, encourage, uplift.
you're on fire. I'm just letting you roll. I do have a question. I do have one
Uh-huh.
question though, because this feels just like that Gemini energy that I love so much, where there's clear communication, where everything feels light and airy and exploratory. Um, but the Gemini sign is twins, right? So little switch, that cutoff where it becomes something else, I will call the Gemini shadow. I don't know if that's how you would call it, because technically all signs have a shadow side to them. Um, but it's always that flip, that twin coming forward that expresses a completely different energy to me, where I'm
Mhm.
like, whoa, what was because it happens in an instant too.
Mhm.
And they can like the Gemini energy can consistently be light and joyful for long periods of time, and then
Mhm.
that switch comes in.
Yeah.
What is this? Why is there a twin? What is the twin's purpose? Tell me. You must tell me.
So literally the energy of Gemini, of being a twins, is to literally see both directions. It chooses which one it's going to be, but it has to see both. And I always told people with Gemini energy, I always found this the most fascinating, but it's the most frustrating. This is why people don't always get along with Geminis, because it is their superpower, but to outside people, it can be frustrating. Because I always say with Gemini people, the weird thing about their minds is when they make a decision, when they're thinking about anything, they see both actions happening simultaneously at the exact same time. And it's almost like their body goes on autopilot about which direction they're going to go. So, with you saying this, oh, I'm glad that you asked this, is what I mean. What I love about this time is what you have to be very careful about with this energy is it is very easy to be understanding, to learn, to navigate, to explore. But on the opposite side, Gemini is easy to become a very overstimulating, overanalyzing, very scatterbrained energy. So this is where you start to pull back that energy from Taurus that we learn. Everything that you learn, you must try to ground it. Try to stay focused through everything. And the most important thing though this time is as you, I would say I would try to like look at one habit at a time, because it's easy for Gemini to want to start a whole bunch of things out of excitement and then you won't finish anything. And then you lose the goals that you had this big, that you started before, which was consistency.
Mhm.
So that's going to be very careful with this time.
I promise I will continue my consistency. I promise I will do that then.
But yes, I definitely love Geminis. But yes, you're very right. And I do call it the shadow too. Every sign has their shadow side. And that is definitely one of Gemini's downfalls, that even they have to watch themselves. That it's good to be light, but it's not good to let it consume you. Let your own energy outrun you.
Mhm. So I just want to say this about Leos, because y'all know I'm Leo, right? So I know we're talking about Gemini and Taurus and all this kind of stuff, but I can play the Leo card and be like, but Leo, let's talk about me for a second. So I just want to clear that up, that, I can't even get on my phone scrolling through my algorithm without seeing, oh, Leo energy, that means you just like all the attention on you. And especially with where I am in the late August phase, the face of Leo is not drawing attention. The face of Leo is leadership.
Mm.
And the shadow of Leo, I'm just going to say, is the cutoff. You done did me wrong. I see exactly who you are through your soul, and I am done. Cut off. That's what I'm going to say. I don't know who needs to hear that right now in the middle of
Somebody needed that somewhere.
somewhere. I don't know if you agree or not, but you can let me know in August.
I love that. I'm excited for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I actually told someone before, I said, I really want to start debunking the stereotypes of astrology series. And it was like, because I was like, everyone hears the one thing about every astrology sign. I was like, if you really understand the energy of those signs, it's deeper than that. Because, like, in that same instant, I was like, everyone, when they hear Aries, the first thing I think is angry. That's when people always say, is like, oh my God, that's an angry sign. And it was like, no, that's a passionate sign who knows what they want and don't tolerate anything either standing in their way or anything like that. That doesn't mean that they're angry. It just means that they actually stand on it. And that's the energy that people need. Same thing for like this Gemini season. Gemini, because every sign has a statement. And like Aries is I am, Taurus is I value, Gemini is I learn. So
Okay.
in that same sentence, I would say Geminis are known to be two-faced and fickle. Is what I always. That's everyone that always knows. That's what they're called. But in their minds, it's because it's like just because I choose to explore all of my options does not make me fickle. I'm just aware of everything, and I want to try everything and explore everything, and I would never limit myself to that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just those beautiful things.
I think that's an okay awareness. I don't see Gemini necessarily as fickle, but they are airy. Like you said, they can
Yes.
see both sides, and then it's they depending on how they want to see it. Like I actually find Gemini and Pisces to be very wishy-washy or back and
Mhm.
forth in their own way. Libra a
Mhm.
little bit too.
Yeah.
Um, but Aries, I don't see them as angry. I see them as bossy. Like they
Yes.
walk in, the first word I think is boss. Like they just like, I'm
Mhm.
here, I'm the boss. What are we doing? This is how I do it. Like the boss energy, right?
So how does that differ from a Capricorn bossy?
I think a Capricorn boss is a more grounded boss. Like for
Mhm.
instance, like I said, Aries is more boss. I'm going to say a bad word. It's more like boss bitch energy, right?
Uh-huh.
Whereas Capricorn is more, I'm going to work hard all the time. I'm going to grind it, and money is important. Like there's, I think it's just like a different level of energy to it. Aries knows when to stop. They are not the workaholics. They're going
Yeah.
to be in charge, but they're not going to work themselves to death the way a Capricorn could.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that's how I feel about that. So we're exploring all of the signs in Gemini season, apparently, because it's I learn and we're just learning. That's like
Yes.
the energy about all of it. So we're getting through the first week with this
Mhm.
light, energetic, joyful, childlike energy. Does that continue? What are the other transits going on here?
So next, coming up around June 11th, we have the full moon in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius full moon is going to spark that Gemini Sagittarius axis. And that's going to be when you really see the differences between the Gemini and the Sagittarius, which is very, very fun. Because if Gemini was all about learning and gathering information and sharing and communicating, Sagittarius is all about higher goals, higher belief systems, higher perspectives, learning beyond the veil. So, what this is going to happen when this time comes, because Sun in Gemini right now, the Sun is going to be about outward external illumination. So it's going to still be a time of communication and learning. That's what the sun's going to be illuminating. But the full moon is going to be more internal illumination, and it's going to illuminate your belief systems. Now that you learned all these things about you, what do they mean to you? Sagittarius is going to ask you to try to develop your purpose and your meaning in everything that you learn. Now you're going to filter out these things.
Okay. That's actually a perfect balance.
Yeah.
I think that's really good. And I love a good Sag. I forget about that part of them sometimes because they're so like adventurous and they need that physical travel. But I forget that they're so incredibly deep. Like they want to challenge God at every corner. Like they want to understand and know and seek and receive. And it's like a Sagittarius. Honestly, I think that's why we celebrate Christmas in December, even though Jesus wasn't really born in December. It's because like Sagittarius is the one who I think can receive that connection. So I don't know what you think about that, but I feel like finding our Sag placements in our charts and our houses and figuring out how we can connect to higher powers and receiving information in that way. I think that could be an important, and that just came to me. So I'm going to figure that out for myself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's also why Sagittarius rules your ninth house. That is why your ninth house is very, very important when it comes to belief systems and higher learning.
See, this is why you're the zodiac god. You know all of For me, it's just a concept. I'm like, and you're like, no, this is what it is.
And then taking it deeper. So belief systems. That's going to be a big thing around this time because most people do not have a discipline problem. They have a belief system problem. So this is when you start to, this full moon is going to really question your internal dialogue. It's going to say, for instance, if you were going on saying, I never lose weight, I'm consistent, I'm worthless. Those are not facts. Those are beliefs that you chose to keep repeating and believe yourself. And those are the belief systems that's going to actually start to change. Because if Gemini, you were trying to understand why you did it, then you finally understood it. If you develop a belief system around why you're doing that, then you can change. Because your beliefs tend to affect your actions. And then your actions help you manifest your results. And then your results reinforce those beliefs. And then so on and so forth. This full moon is literally helping you break cycles and create whole new ones to better help you in your goals.
Dang. So June's going to be the month.
Yeah, definitely.
Like the month of our becoming.
Yes, exactly. That beautiful Sagittarius energy. But like you said earlier, that's what I thought was funny that you said that. Sagittarius are the wild card. They are the ones who, Aries are trailblazers. They're going to go in and go for it. But Aries are the signs of the self. Everything that they choose that's rash and brash is me first. Just whatever I think comes to me that I feel like doing that's going to bring me joy, I'm going to do. Sagittarius really care too much about me. It's just I want the experience of doing it. I want to go through my life and have no regrets. So you want to be careful around this time to not be rash in your decisions, not be impulsive, not be quick to, once you receive clarity, don't immediately jump on it. That's that Gemini energy that's still happening during this time. Because like I say, it's still Gemini season. So once you get clarity, you're going to instantly want to be like, okay, let's fix this fast. But that's not what you want. Because only a week later, we're going to start preparing for Cancer. And Cancer is going to start to slow things down. We're going to go from kind of like how we had with Pisces season, that water. It's like you were going fast, then boom, you hit the pond. And now you're in water.
Well, we don't have to be there yet. Let's back up.
Right.
Is anything special happening around the summer solstice? Like the 20th?
So yes, that's going to be actually all tied in together. When Sun and the Mercury all enter Cancer, summer solstice is going to be at the same time, and Chiron is going to enter Taurus. So all that is going to be working at the same time. So what's going to end up happening is, and it's still going to be very beautiful. It's not going to be dramatic. Like it's not going to be like a huge slowdown. It's just going to be a more shift, almost like a pause. We're going to kind of go internal just a little bit because after clarity comes, now you have to start to reflect because only after reflection does true transformation happen because you have to start to integrate the clarity. So, what Cancer does that I think is so amazing is Cancer is going to ask you to feel. That's the only reason water is here because it wants to remind you that that's what I was talking about at the beginning of the month. Like you were not necessarily avoiding your emotions, but you were told to not be too emotional yet. Now you need to kind of integrate how your emotions play into all of this. Like for instance, uh what's a perfect little example? Say, um, actually, I know it's a perfect example. Back to that Sagittarius energy. The funny thing about Sagittarius, because they're so philosophical, Sagittarius can justify any action they do. It is really, really crazy. If Sagittarius was doing a diet, they would tell themselves, I'm doing my diet because it's going to help me lose this X amount of weight. The next time you see them, they have a whole new diet. And you're like, why are you doing that? I thought you couldn't have that. And it's like, yeah, but I found out if I do it this way, I can still lose weight and it'll all still work out. Then you see them again, it's like they're doing something different. It's like, but I thought you couldn't do that. Now you're doing that. And it was like, yes, but I learned if I kind of play this in too and do this, I can do it. And they're never wrong. Sagittarius is not wrong. It's just, it's difficult to be consistent when you're constantly redoing everything. And that's what Sagittarius do. That's that ability to just keep justifying yourself. But what Cancer comes in and says is no. What you need to do is if you decide to pick an action, feel how you feel in that action. In doing that, that was going to help you realize and how to stay on track, even if you've been falling off. Like for instance, another thing with the whole justification thing, say that you had a drunk weekend. You decided to eat a certain way, then you was like, you know what? I deserve this weekend. I deserve this cheat sheet. This cheat week.
Mhm.
Sagittarius, of course, is going to justify that. I mean, they're all for having a good fun time. Then I'm like, yeah, I deserve this. I need to have that. But then you feel bad about it. That's what Cancer is saying. Lean into it. Don't feel depressed. Don't beat yourself about it, but feel it. Because in feeling it, you won't try and result to your mind and try to justify yourself out of it and then try and reinforce these bad habits. That's what you're trying to get out of this time. You're understanding your habits, learning your habits, understanding clarity from them, and then reinforcing the consistency that we learned back in Taurus season. That's all Cancer is here to say.
That's a big lesson. So, I mean, I like, I'm a Cancer rising.
Uh-huh.
So, and then of course I'm a Capricorn moon, which means that I make very like hard, dry, straightforward kind of decisions.
Mhm.
And then later when I'm by myself, I'm like, oh, but did I hurt their feelings? So because that Cancer always tries to come in and make sure everything was handled appropriately and how do I feel about the thing that happened,
Mhm.
even when placing healthy boundaries. But
Mhm.
Cancer does come in to help exactly like what you're saying. I've noticed that. That's a big lesson years back is when you take certain actions or make certain decisions, if there's ever and like feel into it. And if there's
Mhm.
ever any amount of guilt, like you were talking about, it's because maybe the action that you took long term isn't the best thing for you or isn't the thing that's really going to make you feel good or it's unhealthy or it's something that could destroy something you've built in the long term. And so that Cancer energy comes in to bring awareness to it
Mhm.
through your conscience, not through your mind.
Yes, exactly.
So, yeah, I like the energy there where with the Gemini it's through the mind and then with the Cancer directly behind it's through the conscience. So we're kind of
Yes.
aligning what we've learned with what's good for us internally.
Hmm. This is literally setting the stage for a small form of healing that is going to be needed for a lot of people, especially with Chiron. So Chiron is supposed to be our wound. It's wherever we're wounded.
Mhm.
And with it entering Taurus, that is the wound around self-worth, around the body, and around our routines. This kind of wound says healing comes through repetition. Healing comes from showing up every day. Healing is going to come from doing a thing even when you don't want to do it, but consistency matters. That's how you're going to truly heal yourself during this time. Then, of course, Cancer comes in, tells you to feel into it. And then with summer solstice all happening at the same time, this is maximum light. This is the peak illumination, the longest day of the year. So the summer solstice says, you have learned all these beautiful lessons, you beautiful, beautiful soul. And now, I love how, again, I'm not intense. I try not to be intense. But it's like now that you see everything, because that's what it is, we're illuminating everything. Now that you see what all of this is for you, it's time for you to choose what direction you want to be in. Because now you can either continue to go the course that you know you're supposed to, because by this point, of the month from all the months that we've already had, you should have gained some sort of clarity, either about who you are or what you want to be. And by this point, you need to start to kind of decide like you see where you want to be, you see where you could be. You need to start making those decisions to actually work and go in that direction now. And in doing so, it's going to be such a blessing. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time because what the sun is still doing this, it's still in Cancer now. That means you're going to be taken care of during this time. You're going to be fully nurtured. This is Mother Nature type energy. Well, no, Taurus is still Mother Nature to me. This is Lunar Mother.
Cancer to me is mother. Taurus to me is the turtle.
The
Slow
turtle.
and steady, easy. Like, I swear, if I'm ever with the Taurus, I'm going to be an hour past when I wanted to eat, and I'm always going to be late. That's just the way it is.
This sounds very personal.
I'm glad my husband doesn't watch all of these. Always late, and it's never my fault.
True.
You're
Yes,
like,
you're right. That is
sounds like you
mother.
have something going on with yourself.
This is mother, mother, mother energy. This is going to be beautiful. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be fine. You just have to, once again, like I'm always saying, act, do something. Even if you've never watched a single video before this, if this is your first video and this is the first time you're actually doing anything, it's just saying, with this time of illumination, try to go inward. I mean, this is still water energy. This is still a perfect time to meditate. This is still a great month to just learn about who you are as a person and what you want out of yourself. That's really what this month is going to be about. Know who you are. And in doing that, everything else will just unravel in due time, divine timing. And that's going to be how the month ends. June ends with Mercury going retrograde in Cancer. So now all this mental energy that was outward is going to briefly turn inward. We're going to be on reflection. We're going to learn everything we um, pretty much processed throughout the entire month and learn to integrate it. Work with what works, take away what doesn't work, and prepare the rest of the Cancer season, and then eventually get into Leo, where now we align our heart and warmth and joy and expression can really shine. Because if you thought Gemini was expression, Leo is going to be real, real, true expression. You're going to be able to perform everything you've been doing.
I'll dress extra nice that day.
I love it.
Well, is there anything else we need to know about Gemini season? This feels really beautiful. There's a lot of detail there about learning yourself and your identity and where you're going and challenging belief systems to be open and to bring you into a different kind of energy. It's like know yourself, and then I'll nurture that in you.
Mhm.
So, is there anything else you want anybody to know about June Gemini season or what you've got going on?
Uh, no, I would say Just enjoy yourself. Real quick, if you don't have anything planned for the summer solstice, I would say this is going to be a great time to try and think about what you have planned, um, especially regarding illumination. I would say if you know any kind of mirror rituals, this would be a really great time for that. That is just staring into a mirror and actually manifesting, creating everything, and really, actually, even if you just sit there and meditate with the mirror, it is a great time to look inward into yourself. It is going to truly illuminate everything.
I like that. And of course, we have our iFlow Feminine Rites of Passage retreat over the summer solstice, June 19th through the 22nd. So it's the water energy, the beach energy, and we're going to be doing reflection, remembering what we have in our bones. So I think that that's perfect for what you've taught me is going to be happening in that month anyways. So the energies always have our back.
Yes.
But thanks so much for joining us this month, Dwight. And thank all of you lovely people. We'll see you next month for Cancer season.
Yeah, bye.